This is Chris with Abel. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris with Abel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. They'll all be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my WWE Monday Night Raw, November 14th, 2022 reviews. So here we go, discussing about Monday Night Raw. Now we kick off this week's episode with the United States Champion, Seth Rollins. He comes out, and they started showing about what happened last week on Raw with Rollins' open challenge and stuff, and Austin Theory cashing in, and Bobby Lashley interfering and all that. So yeah, he's looking on with that video clip from last week, and he was talking about how everybody wanted to have the open challenge, so he had the open challenge, and literally everybody wanted to respond, like Finn Balor, Mustafa Ali, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory. And Austin Theory tried to cash in his money in the bank, and he was unsuccessful. And then fans started chanting, "That was stupid." I don't think they was chanting saying that was stupid from Austin Theory. I think they was just chanting like it was stupid for the money in the bank briefcase getting cashed in that way. But that's what happened there. But I guess it was a good playoff, so in a way, But yeah, that's what Seth Rollins was saying. But then all of a sudden he gets interrupted by Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley comes on. By the way, he gets this huge cut on his chest. So I don't know what happened, but he does got a pretty good huge cut on his chest. But yeah, he comes out and he was talking about how he wants a shot for his title. He wants his title back and all of that, and how Austin Theory thought he was going to cash in, but he wants to fight Seth Rollins, not Austin Theory, for the title. So yeah, that's what he was saying, and then Seth Rollins starts talking about how Bobby Lashley lost against Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel and all that, and Lashley was getting pissed off. But then all of a sudden they get interrupted by Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali comes out, and he pretty much wants to fight Bobby Lashley now. The referee's following Mustafa Ali out there, and he was pissed off at Lashley about what happened last week, and Lashley was like, well, you got your ass whooped last week. I'm just going to tell you, head back to the locker rooms, because if you try to step foot in here, I'm going to kick your ass. And then Lashley turns his attention back to Seth Rollins. Mustafa Ali gets in the ring, starts attacking him, but then he gets thrown over the top rope, and then Lashley turns his focus on Rollins again, and Rollins is talking about how he's going to be facing Finn Balor or whatever, and Mustafa Ali comes up and attacks Lashley from behind again, and Lashley throws him back over the top rope. And then we get the match underway, Bobby Lashley versus Mustafa Ali 1-on-1, and it was an okay match. Lashley obviously was dominating this match. I really like the way how Bobby Lashley's getting portrayed now. Now, he's like more of a heel, but with a mixture of the babyface, kind of, because he came out high-fiving the fans and stuff, but, he's just all about business, if you know what I mean. Just like how Stone Cold was, yeah, he was a babyface, but he was all about business, And not like he is like Stone Cold, but in a way, with that, at least. But yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good stuff. Like I said, it was a good match. At the ending, we see Mustafa Ali hit a tornado DDT off the top turnbuckle onto Lashley, which was pretty nice. But as soon as Mustafa Ali gets back up, he gets hit with a spear, getting turned inside out, doing a backflip and stuff. And then Lashley puts on the Hurt Lock, making Mustafa Ali pass out. So yeah, Bobby Lashley defeated Mustafa Ali tonight in a one-on-one match. For that match, I'll give it 2 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good match. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't yet. But then after that, we see AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Mia Yim, the OC talking backstage. And yeah, they was talking about how Judgment Day has been a pain in their ass lately, definitely with AJ Styles since WrestleMania stuff. And that's what Styles was talking about. And then Luke Gallows is like, I told you I had my ways with the women and all that. And Miriam just looks at him. But she goes well, you know what? I got a match up next. And after the match, we can give you some beers. So yeah, that's what she said. And then she heads on out. So yeah, up next, it looks like we're going to be seeing Mia Yim in action up next on Raw. But yeah, that's everything that happened. Pretty good stuff so far. But yeah, I will see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a one-on-one match. It was Mia Yim versus Tamina one-on-one. Now this is Mia Yim's in-ring debut or return or whatever on Monday Night Raw. Now before the match even started, we see Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio make their way down to the ring. But then while she was distracted by that, that's when Tamina took the upper hand and stuff, attacking Mia Yim right when the match started and stuff, and they was both going at it. But then we see Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky Damage Control watching this match on a TV monitor backstage. But we get to the ending of this match where we see Tamina lift up Mia Yim for the Samoan Drop, but Mia Yim gets off her shoulders, landing on her feet, and then hits her finish move, Eat Defeat, onto her, and then pinned her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Mia Yim defeated Tamina tonight on Raw. That's what happened for that match. I'll give it 1 star. That's what I'll give it. Nothing really too special, but Mia Yim picking up a win. But yeah, then after the match ended, Mia Yim was calling Rhea Ripley into the ring. Rhea Ripley was acting like she was going to get in the ring. She was coming halfway through the second rope, but then she decides not to. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment though. But then we see, Matt Riddle walking backstage with the bongs and stuff, playing with them, and Kathy Kelly comes up interviewing him, and I'm talking about how do you feel about facing Chad Gable tonight on Raw, and he was like, well, I'm just going to beat him and all that stuff. And then Chad Gable and Otis comes up, and Chad Gable was like, I'm going to do the same thing to you, just like how Otis did to Elias last week. So prepare yourself. And yeah, that's what happened there. So yeah, later on today we will see Matt Riddle versus Chad Gable one-on-one later on tonight on Monday Night Raw. So yeah. But yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, now before I talk about the match between Matt Riddle and Chad Gable, there was a backstage segment with Mia Yim coming up, walking backstage, and then we see Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky Damage Control coming up, and they talk to Mia Yim talking about how they understand how she feels about being forgotten and all that. Trying to use the same line that they used on Nikki Cross last week, and it was like, well, we want you to be a part of our team at War Games, and Mia Yim was like, I don't got issue with Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka, so I'm thinking I'm good. And then they was kind of getting upset a little bit, but then they was like, go ahead and think about it and stuff. And don't make the wrong choice. But then AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson comes up and going like, is everything all good, Mia Yim? And she was like, yeah, and then they walked away. So we get to the next match. It was Matt Riddle versus Chad Gable with Otis at ringside in a one-on-one match. And it was a pretty good match between Riddle and Gable. But yeah, it was going back and forth and everything. We see Otis keep on interfering a few times while distracting Matt Riddle. Like, Riddle was on the top turnbuckle at one point. Gable comes up hitting a German suplex onto him off the top turnbuckle, which was pretty nice. And like I said, it was a back and forth match. Riddle almost won a few times. Gable almost won a few times. At one point, we see Riddle actually pull out the Fisherman Buster onto Chad Gable in this match. But then at one point, we see Riddle hit the powerbomb, flipped him over, and hits a knee to the face onto him, almost getting a 3 count, but Gable barely kicking out at 2. And then at one point we see Gable actually locking on the ankle lock, trying to make Riddle tap out, but Riddle fought out of it, and then he locked on the triangle chokehold onto Gable, but Gable fought out of that. But then, like I said, Gable actually picked up Riddle at one point, hitting a Dominator DDT onto him, which was pretty nice. And he almost got the 3 count by that, but Riddle barely kicking out at 2. But then we get to the very ending of this match where Riddle was taking control, hitting a DDT on Gable off the second rope, setting up for the RKO. But then he sees Otis acting up, and he gives over the top rope, kicking Otis in the face. And then Gable grabs Riddle, trying to hit that German suplex, but Riddle lands on his feet after doing the backflip. And then Riddle was trying to hit like the RKO or whatever, but then Gable reverses it and try to hit like another German suplex. Riddle was holding onto the ropes, and that's when Gable rolled him up for the backslide, puts his feet on the bottom ropes with Otis holding his feet down, getting the 3 count by cheating. So yeah, Chad Gable defeated Matt Riddle tonight in a one-on-one match. That was a pretty good match. I'll give that match 3.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. Really good match between Chad Gable and Matt Riddle. But yeah, that's what happened right there. And then we had another segment backstage where we see Baron Corbin and JBL and some random guy playing poker backstage, and they're winning money and all that stuff. And then we see Akira Tozawa coming up, wanting to play poker as well, but apparently he don't know how to play poker, so he's just betting money just to bet money. So yeah, that's what happened there. But yep, up next we're going to be seeing The Miz hosting Miz TV up next on Raw. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, now we see The Miz coming out, and he actually had Byron Saxton in the ring, and he tells Byron Saxton that he relinquishes his spot to host Miz TV, and Byron Saxton will be the one hosting Miz TV, where Byron Saxton will be telling him, well, giving him the questions that he will answer. So yeah, that's what he was saying, and Byron Saxton was like pretty much confused. But Miz was doing it, talking about like how he never hired, how he actually tried to work with Dexter Lumis, but Dexter Lumis wouldn't do it, and stuff like that. But then he was talking about the private investigator, how he just told the private investigator lies and stuff, so gave her what she wants to hear, and then to leave him alone. So yeah, to give her the greatest performance of his life. So yeah, that's what Miz was talking about. And Miz just kept on lying and lying and lying. And then all of a sudden, Johnny Gargano had enough. He comes walking out, telling Miz to stop lying, to actually tell the damn truth. And everybody knows that he's lying and everything. He said, well, look, you went on vacation this week. And Miz was like, how do you know if I went on vacation? Did you got any evidence or something? And Gargano was like, well, your wife posted up pictures of herself and stuff having vacations, but you wasn't in the pictures. But I assume that you are, because he just literally said that he was. So yeah, that's what Johnny Gargano said. And then he was telling Miz that he don't got to worry no more, because in 2 weeks at Survivor Series, he will be taking on Dexter Lumis one-on-one in a match. If Dexter Lumis wins, he will get a WWE contract and all the money that Miz owes him. So yeah, that's what's going to happen, and it's now official: Miz versus Dexter Lumis one-on-one at Survivor Series. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then he tells Miz to turn around because Dexter Lumis is behind him, and Dexter Lumis he was dressed up as a cameraman, and Miz starts running off as soon as Dexter Lumis grabs him about the jacket. So yeah, Miz just ran up the ramp and everything, running away from Dexter Lumis, and Lumis was chasing after him. But yeah, pretty good stuff though. But then after that, we see a little segment from what happened earlier today, which Shelton Benjamin was getting interviewed, and he was talking about his losses and stuff. But he was talking about how it won't matter. And then Dominic Mysterio comes up with Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio was talking about how Shelton Benjamin has always been a loser since the days that his dad and Eddie Guerrero was in their prime, and he was always a loser. He's still a loser because he's better than his own dad and stuff. So yeah, that's what Dominic was saying. And then Shelton got into Dominic's face, and then Damian Priest jumps in front of Dominic, talking about you ain't gonna be talking to him like that. If you got a problem with Dominic, you got a problem with the Judgment Day. And Shelton gets in Damian's face, and he goes like, well, you know what? I accept the challenge. I accept your challenge, Dominic. And because Dominic was behind Damian, just hyping everything up, being like a hype boy. But yeah, that's what happened there. And it looks like up next we're going to be seeing Dominic Mysterio versus Shelton Benjamin one-on-one up next on Raw. So yeah, that match will be happening up next. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, we get to the next one-on-one match. It was Dominic Mysterio with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day, versus Shelton Benjamin one-on-one. So yeah, Shelton Benjamin versus Dominic Mysterio one-on-one. And Dominic was doing a lot of stuff like slapping Benjamin and stuff. And every time Benjamin chased after him, Dominic kept on escaping out the ring multiple times. At one point, Shelton had to get out the ring and grab Dominic to throw him back into it. And then he was distracted at one point by Damian Priest, but Dominic tries to roll him up. But Shelton kicks out too, and then locks him in the ankle lock, trying to make Dominic tap out. And then, Dominic fought out of it and all that stuff. But then Shelton was distracted by Damian Priest. And then that's when Dominic grabs Shelton, throws him shoulder first into the ring post, and then plants him with a DDT. and then he climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off with the frog splash, pinning Shelton for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Dominic Mysterio defeated Shelton Benjamin tonight on Monday Night Raw. That's what happened. It was an okay match. For that match, I'll give it 1.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was an okay match between Dominic and Shelton. Nothing really too special. But yeah, that's what happened right there in that match. And it looks like up next we're going to be seeing Austin Theory having an exclusive interview up next because, you know, he lost his Money in the Bank contract last week. He's like the 5th person to lose the contract, I think. So yeah, Austin Theory will be having an exclusive interview up next on Raw. But later on tonight on Raw, we will see Seth Rollins defending the United States Championship against Finn Balor 1-on-1 later on tonight on Raw. So yeah, that match will be happening later on tonight. And yeah, see you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, now we get to the next segment before I talk about the match with Io Sky. We gotta talk about this segment. So we see Austin Theory backstage, and he gets interviewed by Kathy Kelly, and you know, he's talking about losing the Money in the Bank contract last week on Raw and all that. How he thought he had an opportunity with Seth Rollins laying down his back last week, laid out from Bobby Lashley and stuff, because he knew he never had an opportunity against Roman Reigns just because. For the fact that the bloodline was with him at all times, even all the times that Roman Reigns looks vulnerable and stuff. You had people like Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam interfering with his cash-in, and Tyson Fury at Clash of the Castle interfering with his cash-in. So yeah, he said, and if they was even around, the bloodline would have been around. So he said that he knew that he had no opportunity to cash in just because Roman's been champion for over 2 years and stuff, and there was just no chance. So yeah, that's what he said. He said that he seemed like an opportunity with Seth Rollins since he was laid out last week. But then obviously Bobby Lashley interfered and cost him the Money in the Bank. So yeah, that's what he said. He says that he's more focused than ever since losing the Money in the Bank contract. But then all of a sudden we see Dolph Ziggler comes up, and Ziggler comes up talking about, I was trying to tell you this a few months ago, but you just didn't want to listen. I was trying to teach you the ropes and everything, but you just didn't want to do it. And Theory was like, you know what, I'm getting tired of people looking down on me, talking down on me, so I wanted to face you one-on-one tonight. And we get that match official. Austin Theory versus Dolph Ziggler later on tonight. But then we get to the next match. It was Io Sky with Dakota Kai, Bayley, and Nikki Cross, Damage Control versus Dana Brooke 1-on-1. Now, Dana Brooke is in the match because she is pissed off about the fact that Nikki Cross threw the 24/7 title away, so she wants revenge. So yeah, we get the match underway. It was an okay match. At one point, we see Dana Brooke lay out Io Sky with a DDT, but Io kicked out at 2, and then Dana Brooke was trying to hit like the the back elbow to the face on the Io in the corner, but Io catches her and then hits a German suplex onto her, and then she hits double knees to the face onto her in the corner, climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off with a moonsault onto Dana Brooke, pinning her for the 3 count. So Io Sky defeated Dana Brooke tonight on Raw. For that match, I'll just give it 1.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. But then after the match ended, we see Mia Yim come out, and she said that she chose a side that she wants to be fighting with, and Bayley and them was like, oh yeah, it got to be us or whatever. She was like, nah, it ain't y'all, it's with Bianca and them. And then Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka came out with Mia Yim. So yeah, Mia Yim will now be a part of Bianca's team for War Games in a few weeks, so they only need one more member as well. But yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good stuff. And up next, we're going to be seeing Austin Theory versus Dolph Ziggler 1-on-1 up next on Raw. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, now before I talk about the match between Dolph Ziggler and Austin Theory, there was one more segment which I forgot to talk about a while ago, where we see Baron Corbin and JBL playing poker with Akira Tozawa, and Akira Tozawa was winning all their money and stuff, pissing them off, and they was like, one more time, and then Akira Tozawa was like, no, how about this? We go outside. And Corbin was like, what are you talking about? He goes like, out to the ring, and then he was trying to shake Corbin's hand. Corbin stuck his hand down, and then Akira Tozawa slaps his hand and takes off with the money. So yeah, that's what happened there. It looks like they're going to be having a match soon. But then we get to the next match, Austin Theory versus Dolph Ziggler one-on-one, and it was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. There was one cool moment where we see Austin Theory hit like a tilt-a-whirl powerbomb onto Ziggler, and Ziggler barely kicking out at 2. But then at the ending, Ziggler starts picking up the pace, hitting the Famouser and stuff like that. Looked like he was about to win this match where he was setting up for the super kick for Austin Theory. But Austin Theory comes up with a devastating forearm to the face onto Ziggler, picks him up onto his shoulders, hitting A-Town down onto him, and then lifts him up again, hits a second one onto Ziggler, laying him out, and then instead of going for the pin, just gets on top of him, beating him down and stuff, and then the referee had to pull him off, and Ziggler rolls out the ring. Austin Theory gets out the ring, starts beating down Ziggler outside the ring, slamming his head against the announce table and stuff. Referee rung the bell, so I guess Ziggler probably won by DQ or something. And then Austin Theory got pissed off, throws Ziggler over the barricade, throws a steel chair onto him, grabs like a chair from the announcer, throwing it onto Ziggler, and just keep on continuing beating him down, goes over there, beats him down and stuff. A bunch of referees and officials come out. Austin Theory walks away at first, and then he comes back beating down Ziggler again until the officials had to pull him off. And Austin Theory starts walking away, talking about how he's not no kid no more and everything. And, you know, that he's Austin Theory. But yeah, that's what happened there, showing the ruthlessness of Austin Theory. Pretty good stuff, I'm not even going to lie, with Austin Theory. So yeah, maybe it's a good thing, who knows. We got to see. He should have never became Mr. Money in the Bank. And yeah, the way how he cashed in last week was stupid. But we're going to see how it ends up. Everybody was saying that, oh, Theory's buried now and stuff. Nah, I don't think that's the case. We just gotta wait and see what happens, you know. But other than that, for that match and stuff, I'll just give it 2 stars. That's what I'll give it. I hate when matches ends in DQs, but it was okay with showing Austin Theory his ruthlessness. So yeah, that's what happened there. And up next, we're gonna be seeing Baron Corbin versus Akira Tozawa one-on-one up next on Raw. So yeah, that match will be happening up next. And later on tonight, we will see Seth Rollins defending the United States Championship against Finn Balor later on tonight in the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, now we see, before I talk about the match with Baron Corbin, we see a segment backstage where Rhea Ripley goes up to Damage Control and says that since Mia Yim and is on Bianca's team, I'll be on y'all's team. And yeah, it looks like Bayley's group is now formed for the War Games, and Bianca normally needs one more person. So yeah, that's what happened there. Rhea Ripley has joined Damage Control at War Games. But then we get to the next match. It was Baron Corbin with JBL versus Akira Tozawa one-on-one. And Akira Tozawa was doing really good in this match. He kept on going at it, taking it to Corbin, hitting a Shining Wizard onto him, climbed up the top turnbuckle, jumping off for like a freaking elbow, back elbow, whatever, onto Corbin, taking him down. But then he climbs up the top turnbuckle again. He jumps off, trying to hit like a crossbody on Corbin. Corbin catches him, slings him around, hitting the End of Days onto Akira Tozawa, and then pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Baron Corbin defeated Akira Tozawa tonight on Monday Night Raw. For that match, I'll just give it 1.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good match. Akira Tozawa taking it to Corbin in that match, so yeah. But up next, it'll be the main event. It will be the United States Champion Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor one-on-one for the United States Championship up next on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on Monday Night Raw, now before I talk about the main event for the United States Championship, there was a few things happening backstage, a few segments. Now we've seen Kathy Kelly interviewing Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Mia Yim. And, you know, Kathy Kelly was asking Bianca about Rhea Ripley joining Bayley's crew. And she said, that's perfectly fine. We'll find a 5th member by next week. And she was like, well, how about the match for, you know, who's going to be coming in first and all that next week, you know, into the match and stuff. And Bianca was like, well, we ain't going to tell her secret, but just know we got ideas. So yeah, that's what Bianca said. And then they walk away, and then we see Chad Gable and Otis, Alpha Academy, coming up. And Chad Gable was like, why haven't anybody interviewed me yet since I beat Matt Riddle and Otis beat Elias last week. And he was talking about how good he was and all that stuff. And then we see Seth Rollins coming up just singing and stuff. So yeah, that was just funny stuff. But then after that, we see Finn Balor get interviewed backstage as well when he was about to make his entrance. And he says that he's going to beat Seth Rollins tonight and win the United States Championship and go to Survivor Series and beat AJ Styles one-on-one. So yeah, that's what Finn Balor said. And then we get to the main event. It was the United States Champion Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor one-on-one for the United States Championship. And this match, it was a really good match. Go check it out if you have yet. It was a back and forth match at one point. Rollins was pretty much about to powerbomb Finn Balor into the barricade. You know, just like the same thing that they did at SummerSlam a few years ago when Finn Balor got injured. Just a flashback to that, but Balor leaps over him, getting out of it, and then drop kicks him into the barricade and stuff, which was pretty cool. Throws him back into the ring, try to hit the coup de grace, but, Rollins moves out the way, and then Rollins try to hit the curb stomp, and Balor moves out the way, and then Rollins try to roll up Balor, and Balor kicks out too, and then he lifts him up, power bombs him and stuff. And the fans was really into it. It was back and forth. At one point, Rollins was trying to hit the Phoenix Splash onto him, but Balor moved out the way. We see Rollins try to hit the pedigree at one point. Balor kept on reversing it and everything. So yeah, like I said, back and forth match between these two guys. But then, while Rollins was getting the upper hand, we see Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley, the rest of the Judgment Day, coming down to the ring. Watching this match from ringside at that point. Priest was trying to interfere and stuff, getting on the apron, and it was distracting Rollins, and Rollins almost got rolled up for the 3 count, but Rollins barely kicking out too and fighting back, hitting a discus forearm onto Balor, turns around, hits another one to the back of the head, and try to hit the curb stump, but Balor moved out the way and stuff. And then after that, we see Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Mia Yim coming down, brawling with the rest of the Judgment Day outside the ring. Anderson chased Dominic into the ring, and then he clotheslines Dominic over the top rope, and then Balor clotheslines Carl Anderson over the top rope. He hits a drop kick onto Seth Rollins into the corner, climbs up the top turnbuckle, about to hit the coup de grace onto Seth Rollins, but then we see Dominic running back into the ring and stuff, distracting the referee. That's when AJ Styles comes up, pushes Balor off the top turnbuckle, he smacked the top rope, and then the OC and the Judgment Day goes into the crowd brawling and stuff, and while that's happening, Rollins had the open opportunity to hit the curb stomp onto Finn Balor and then pin him for the 1-2-3. So yeah, Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor and has retained the United States Championship. That's what happened. Really good match. Go check it out if you haven't yet. For that match, I'll give it 4.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. That was easily match of the night right there. But yeah, after the match ended, Austin Theory attacked Seth Rollins from behind, beating him down stuff. He lifts him up, throws him out of the ring, throwing him into the ring post and everything, hitting A-Town down, not once, but twice onto him, and then he grabs the United States Championship, hits him in the face with the title, stands over him, holding up the United States Championship. So yeah, that's what Austin Theory did, laid out Seth Rollins. But yeah, like I said, pretty good match. I give that match 4.5 stars, but for tonight's Monday Night Raw, I'll give it 8.5 stars as well. It was a pretty good episode, so yeah, go check it out if you have yet. But I'll be doing my AEW Dynamite reviews this Wednesday and my AEW Full Gear reviews this Saturday. So yeah, look out for that. And SmackDown will be Friday. But yeah, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris. And subscribe to this channel, Chris Bales. And follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. It'll all be down there in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then.